Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to the channel today. Thank you so much for joining me, for keeping me company. If you're relatively new to the channel, usually you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, all of the fibre related things, and quite often there's a specific topic attached to my videos, but I don't have a specific topic to chat to you about today. I just wanted to come by and check in with you because it's been a couple of weeks since I uploaded a video, which in the grand scheme of things is not long at all, but for me and my recent upload schedule, that's quite some gap. So I had a few people reach out to ask me if I'm doing okay, so I thought I'd pop in and let you know that I'm okay. I've had a difficult couple of mental health weeks, but I feel like I'm coming out of the other side now. So hopefully I'll be back to uploading a little bit more regularly. So yes, I did take a little bit of an unintended break from YouTube. My anxiety levels have been pretty high, and when I am like that, I really struggle to find motivation to do anything other than the essentials, and by essentials I mean looking after myself and doing what I need to do on a daily basis to keep my business ticking over. Other than that, there's not that much been going on really. I'm still not quite back to my usual self today, and this kind of illustrates why. I thought while I chat to you I could work on a sock project. This is going to be a donation for the Socks for West Midlands ambulance service, and the lovely Charlie of Cranky Lady, I'll link her Instagram account below, cranked up some tubes from some of the yarn donations that the lovely folks here in the Yarn and Yarns community pledged after my last video about that sock appeal. And last night I sat and I put the toe and the cuff onto this sock, and I set myself up for putting in the heel, or at least I thought I did. So I came down to chat to you today with my sock tube, my yarn for my heels, but I realised I haven't actually snipped my row. So yeah, I need to actually get my scissors and cut this yarn and make a space so that I can knit the heel. So I'm not entirely ready to knit this yet. I suppose I could maybe try and come back in and do that before I kitchener the heel close, but that just seems like it could go all kinds of wrong, so no knitting for me today. As you can see, I'm down at my local beach, and this is the first time I've been down here for 2 weeks. So for those of you who have been here for a while, you will know that I love coming down here, and I come down here pretty much most days if I can get away with it. So yeah, the fact I haven't been down here for 2 weeks is another indicator of how I've been doing. I'm sharing a little bit of my experience over the last couple of weeks with you, not because I'm fishing for sympathy in the comments or anything, but I just wanted to continue to share, and I have done I think throughout the last year, that if you are experiencing the same, you're not alone. I think it's very important that we talk about mental health issues and anxiety issues. I popped up a video on my Patreon a couple of days ago, and it's quite a small community over there, but I want to say a big thank you to anyone who does support the channel via my Patreon, or who supports the channel via Coffee. It helps me to continue to put aside the time to make these videos. So I really do appreciate the community that we have in all of the places. Just by being here, by watching, by liking and by subscribing, you're supporting the channel. So I appreciate any level of support that you're able to give. But the reason I'm mentioning Patreon is because it's the Patreon community that kind of got me back in front of the camera a couple of days ago. I have pledged to do a monthly video exclusively for the Patreon community. So I wanted to make sure that I fulfilled that promise. It's quite a small community over there, but quite a few people have commented who've watched the video to say that March has also been a struggle for them. So yeah, I just wanted to, I'm not obviously going to share people's comments or names from that video, but I think that just goes to show that a lot of people have been struggling. So if you are feeling the same, then please know that you're not alone. I think one comment over on Patreon struck me in particular, where someone mentioned that At the moment there doesn't seem to be any kind of escape or let up from the current situation, because for a lot of us we have reached the year anniversary of being in lockdown, and lots of people have been writing about that, posting about that, and there seems to be this constant reminder at the moment that we've been in this situation for a year. So I think for sure that has probably been contributing to my anxiety levels. I know people don't mean it to be like that. I think it's something to celebrate. We're here, we've survived, we're making it through, but that sort of constant bombardment, that constant reminder that it's been a year, I think is feeding into kind of my subconscious and my anxiety levels. So yeah, that definitely gave me food for thought, that comment. I have managed to do a little bit of creative work, mostly by picking up my knitting and forcing myself to do a row or two every day, which sounds more melodramatic than it is, but I kind of have to try and keep myself in the habit. And by doing a row or two every day, even though I have not felt my usual enthusiasm for my sort of creative projects, it has helped me to make progress and feel like I'm not completely detached from the things that make me happy. So next week at some point we'll be heading into April, so I will have some completed objects to share with you. Before I sign off for this video, I mentioned socks for West Midlands Ambulance Service earlier, and I've got a couple of clips of some fabulous wheels of socks. So Charlie has been cranking out some tubes for us from the yarns that have been donated for that appeal. So I've got a couple of clips showing off those. And I've also got a clip to share with you of a couple of pairs of socks that I've made, and one pair of socks that has already been sent in to me by someone in the community that we can send on to that appeal. I had a really fun delivery today, so I thought I'd show you this amazing wheel of socks, or wheel of potential socks, that I've got before I start cutting these up and actually turning them into socks. So I sent the first, I think, 10 balls of sock yarn that I had donated for the West Midlands Ambulance Service sock appeal. Say that 10 times fast. Sent them off to Charlie and she has just returned them to me. How amazing does that look? If you were ever curious to know what 10 balls of sock yarn knit up looks like, it's this giant wheel bigger than my head. So there's all sorts of fun colourways in there. That was the first wheel of socks that came back to me, and I am so very grateful to the lovely Zoe of Pins and Needles UK. Zoe has the Pins and Needles channel here, and she lives just down the road from me, one town over. And Zoe very kindly said that she would take that whole wheel of socks off of my hands, and over the next sort of weeks and months we'll turn those into pairs of socks. And I think she might be sharing that wheel with the lovely Jenny of Owl About Yarn as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for your help with that wheel. And since then Charlie has sent me another amazing wheel of sock yarn which has arrived today. So here it is in all of its gloriousness. Isn't it just amazing? I love these. It's just a work of art. I feel like I want to just hook this on the wall and leave it as it is, but no, we will be turning these into socks. In the interim, Charlie sent me a small package. She was actually sending me some of her Charlie button yarns, and she'd managed to crank a couple of tubes. So I've been actually working on this little collection that I have here. So I thought I'd show you what I have been up to. When I last posted, I was making a pair of socks from another sock tube that Charlie gifted to me, and I'd previously made a pair of socks for myself, which I used from this yarn, and I used this orange as a contrast for heels, toes and cuffs, and I've made a second pair from that same tube which I will be donating to the WMAS appeal. And I used every little scrap of my orange yarn, so I was able to make cuffs from the orange yarn, and then for the toes and the heels, sunlight's just popping in in exactly the wrong place, I used this sort of blue-grey Regia yarn that I had in my stash. The second pair that I've made is, yes, I've gotten stuck in and made another pair already. Charlie sent me this sock tube, which I believe the yarn was donated by Sian. Thank you so much, Sian. And it was some drops yarn, 250 gram balls. So I have decided to make 2 pairs of socks from this particular colourway, and so I've made the first pair at the weekend. It's pretty sort of pinks, greys and beige. And I had some leftovers in my stash of this beigey brown colour, which I believe is a Rowan Fine Art sock yarn. They don't make it anymore. They made it a few years ago and then discontinued it. But I thought it matched quite well with the sort of browny tones in this particular colourway. I've also had the first pair of completed socks through the post that have been donated by the lovely Pamela. And Pamela, when I popped up the video last month, said she had a pair of socks on the needles that she would happily donate to the appeal. And a few days later, these arrived in the post. What a fun pair of socks these are. Thank you so much, Pamela, for this donation. I'm looking at the yarn and I think it might be one of the Stylecraft yarns, although I could be wrong, but it's just very reminiscent, I think, of one of the colourways that Stylecraft had when they did their head over heels range. But yeah, as I say, could be wrong. But it's these really fun kind of watermelon-y colours, greens and pinks and yellows. Yeah, love these so much. So thank you so much for the kind donation, Pamela. I shall be adding these to the box along with the socks that I've made. We've already got a lovely little collection. Whoops. That I can be sending off to Jeanette soon. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of footage. I thought I'd end with a little bit of creative content. Hopefully that's going to work out okay in the editing. I hope you don't mind that I've been sat here in my sunglasses. It's a very sunny day here in South Wales today, and I'm sat facing the sun so that you don't just see a silhouette of me. But yeah, I've had to put my sunglasses on so I'm not squinting all the time. I think I'm going to wrap up for today's video and sit and enjoy the sounds of the sea and a little bit of time in the sunshine. I'll be back again soon. I do have quite a lot of video that I have taken that I need to edit and upload, and I had all that shot and ready to edit before I sort of slid into my sort of period of anxiety. So there's a few things that I need to film to wrap up those videos, but hopefully this is the start of me getting back to uploading regularly. So I hope you will join me for the next video, but until we get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.